So, welcome to Buddha Magic Podcasts with Dhamma Podcast on Vipassanā Kammathāna, the path to profound insight in the Thai forest tradition. So, as an academic explanation this time, more serious, more academic, as an explanation and an examination of this extremely profound contemplative practice of Vipassanā Kammathāna in the Thai forest tradition. And I shall try to elucidate the quintessential elements of Vipassanā Kammathāna or Vipassanā Kammathāna within the context of the Thai forest tradition, a lineage which is, as many people know, highly renowned for its rigorous adherence to the original teachings of the Buddha. So what is the essence of Vipassanā Kammathāna? The essence is, Vipassanā Kammathāna represents an extraordinary methodological approach to meditation that transcends mere tranquility practices. The term itself, merits etymological analysis indeed. Yeah. Etymological means analyze the root meanings of the words. So Vipassana derives from the Pali roots vi or vi, meaning special or clear, and Passana, meaning seeing, thus denoting clear seeing or insight. Kammathāna or Kammathāna literally translates as working ground or place of practice, which means yourself actually within. Together they constitute a comprehensive framework for cultivating penetrative insight into the fundamental nature of phenomenological reality. Yeah, I can never say that. Phenomenological. Yeah. So Vipassanā Kammathāna as a Kammathāna, and also Samatha Kammathāna, Samadhi as well, you have to use them together in conjunction, constitute a comprehensive framework for cultivating a very penetrative insight into the fundamental nature of phenomenological reality, which is what I was trying to say. This practice is inextricably intertwined within the Thai forest tradition, or the Kammathāna forest tradition, which is a revivalist movement within the Theravada Buddhism movement that emerged in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The tradition's progenitors, most notably Ajahn Man, Puritato or Puritata, and Ajahn Sao Kantasilo, both sought to re-establish the authentic practice of the Buddha's teachings by returning to the forest and emulating the Buddha's own journey towards enlightenment, which I in fact also tried to do, and had to really argue a lot because you have to usually stay in the temple for 5 years before you're allowed to go on tudong in the forest, especially alone, and you usually have to go a few years with your Krupa Ajahn, which I didn't. After 10 days I was allowed to go alone. I got my Baisuti, which is a yellow monk's passport. I had to go to Puttamonton, the Buddha Mondon, Puttamondon, which is the world Buddhist, where they administrate the whole Sangha, and also ask for permission. And the strange thing was the administrators weren't monks, they were laypersons deciding what monks can do, which I had a problem with, even though as a monk I should be letting go anyway. So I'll continue on to the sylvan environment as a pedagogical instrument. Yeah. What does that mean? It means the deliberate selection of forest environments for practice represents more than just a mere aesthetic preference. It constitutes a sophisticated pedagogical strategy, for those who understand what that means. The forest, with its inherent unpredictability, transience and natural cycles, serves as a living laboratory for observing the three characteristics of existence, or tilakkhana, or pratrailak in Thai, yeah, or the three marks of existence, yeah, which is all things are impermanent, all things lead to dissatisfaction or suffering, and all things are void of an inherent unchanging self or quality that you could say is a selfness to it. And the practitioner, when he or she is immersed in this natural setting, encounters a direct experiential evidence of impermanence, or anicca, meaning transitoriness, yeah, and the unsatisfactoriness, which means dukkha. Some people call it suffering, dissatisfaction, and non-self, anatta, which means void of any inherent unchanging quality that is definable as a self that never changes, or a quality of self that is always there, inherent. Cannot be found in Buddhism, and if you examine in Kammathāna, in Vipassanā Kammathāna, you'll find it doesn't, but don't believe me, look for yourself. So through quotidian observations, the decay of vegetation, the ceaseless transformation of the environment, and the interdependence of ecological systems is seen to show these three marks of existence, yeah, for example. So through a theoretical framework, we look at the three marks of existence. The ontological foundation of Vipassanā Kammathāna rests upon the three characteristics of existence, or tilakkhana, or pratrailak in Thai, which constitute the fundamental axioms of Buddhist phenomenology. The first being impermanence, or anicca, which anicca represents the inexorable flux characterizing all conditioned phenomena. This principle transcends superficial change, penetrating to the subatomic level even, where particles arise and cease in microseconds even, yeah. So it's this quantum Dhamma as well as Dhamma. Well, the Dhamma is quantum. The quantum world reveals the Dhamma actually, but that's for another day. The Buddha's exposition on impermanence was revolutionary in its assertion that change is not merely an attribute of existence, rather its very essence. Contemporary quantum physics offers striking parallels to this, actually, to this really ancient understanding, and it's much more ancient than physics or quantum physics. Through observations of the subatomic particle behavior, we can see this. Yeah, if you know anything about particle physics, you'll know that. And you practice Dhamma and you compare it, you will see that that is actually true. The recognition of impermanence, hence, serves as an epistemological tool, dismantling the cognitive distortion that stability can be found in conditioned phenomena. The forest practitioners confront this reality directly through the observation of natural processes every day if they practice in the forest. The Tudong monks, yeah. Witnessing the transformation of living organisms, weather patterns, and even their own bodily sensations, mental states. So the coming and going of everything, yeah, and the letting go of that, because there's no point. It's going to go. It comes, it's there for a moment, and then it's gone. So what's the point in holding on? And that's how letting go begins, actually, when you start realizing that. So the next one is, the second mark is unsatisfactoriness, dukkha, which encompasses a spectrum of experiential dissatisfaction, forms of dissatisfaction, yeah, which are far more nuanced, it's my Yorkshire accent, nuanced than mere suffering, yeah. So there are much more nuanced forms of dissatisfaction than simple suffering like physical ouch. The Buddha delineated three distinct manifestations of dukkha, what most people think just means suffering. Dukkha, which means explicit suffering encompassing physical pain, illness, and psychological distress. Then there was, secondly, viparinama Viparinama dukkha. Viparinama dukkha. The inherence means the inherent unsatisfactoriness which arises from change, particularly and especially when pleasant experiences inevitably cease. So when the fun stops, that's when the dissatisfaction starts. And then you start looking for fun again until you abandon it because you see it's temporary. And the third is sankhara dukkha, which means the subtle, pervasive unsatisfactoriness, or better said, dissatisfactoriness, which is inherent. So it's part of, it's there within all conditioned phenomena. Yeah. What does that mean, all conditioned phenomena? Well, everything in the physical universe, including your own thoughts. And that's due to the impermanent and insubstantial nature of things, yeah. The forest environment, though, for Tudong practice and Vipassanā Kammathāna accentuates these dimensions of dukkha, all three of them, through direct confrontation with the physical discomfort, your environmental challenges, and you notice always the perpetual transformation of your own surroundings, of one's own surroundings. Or you should do if you're really seeing Vipassana, if you're developing Vipassana. And the third, of course, is non-self, anatta, which is the hard one, of course, that everyone thinks they can't understand. And it isn't that hard to understand, but it's hard to explain. Anatta constitutes perhaps the most profound and counterintuitive principle in Buddhist philosophy, which is why it's so argued. It posits that within the five aggregates, or in Pali, the Panchakanta, which means the five khandas or five skandhas, the five heaps, which means rupa, form, vedana, feeling, sanya, perception, and sankhara, mental formations, and vijnana, or vinyan, meaning consciousness. And in Thai you would say rup, vedana, sanya, sankhara, vinyan, a little bit, no A on the end, no vijnana, it's vinyan in Thai. And sankhara instead of sankhara. Anyway, so if you want to know in Thai, it's rup, vedana, sanya, sankhara, vinyan, and in Pali it is rupa, vedana, sanya, sankhara, and vijnana. And it has no permanent autonomous self that can be identified. It meaning you, me, anything. Yeah. An orange is sweet. Well, not if it's rotten or if it's not ripe yet. Okay. This principle directly challenges the pervasive cognitive tendency towards self-identification, egoa. Through sustained contemplation, you, me, any practitioner can recognize that which appears as a unified self. It's actually a dynamic process of just interdependent phenomena. It's just a lot of different things clicking each other off, triggering each other. But you have to follow that inside through your perception in meditation. And Kammathāna, Vipassanā, mindfulness, awareness of what's happening in your mind at meditation when it's happening. And to see that these phenomena that are interconnected and interdependent of each other are in constant flux and completely void of independent existence. They can't exist without the cause and the thing they cause and the effects. And all effects are the result of a previous cause and the cause of a future effect anyway. So they're therefore both the cause and effect, both in the same time, and so are we. So if we look at a methodological approach to how the Thai Tudong practitioners, or the forest monks and the forest tradition lay practitioners, and those who go to the forest, or those who just make their own private room the forest and go into solitude or their cave. First make your own mind and heart the cave before you go to the forest. Make a cave out of your mind and heart and then go to the forest, because you'll know how to practice if you do that first. So this methodological approach to the practice of Vipassanā Kammathāna integrates several complementary practices. Mindfulness of breathing, anapanasati, which begins with focused attention on the respiratory process. Practitioners of this will cultivate concentration, or samadhi, or samadhi in Thai, while simultaneously observing the impermanent nature of each breath. You see it come and go like the ebb and the tide. Then you have the four foundations of mindfulness, the Satipatthana. So the Satipatthana Sutra, yeah? The four foundations, the four Satipatthana. Mindfulness of breathing is actually 16 practices of the first of 4 sections of the first of the 4 Satipatthana as well. But I'll give another talk on that. So the 4 foundations of mindfulness is mindfulness of the body, Kayanupassana Satipatthana, mindfulness of the feelings, Vedananupassana Satipatthana, and mindfulness of the mind, the mental states, mental formations and thoughts. So the Cittanupassana Satipatthana, and then all of the phenomena, mental objects, things your awareness notices. That's what phenomena are. A phenomena doesn't happen until you look at it and notice it. Look at the double slit experiment in quantum physics. You will see it's not a wave or a particle until you look at it, and even when you look at it, you can't decide. So that's called the Dhammanupassana Satipatthana, the 4th. Another part of the practice is, of course, walking meditation, Chankama, or in Thai we would say Dön Jongrom or Jongrom. Dön means walk, Jongrom means to and fro, round and round, which it means a deliberate mindful ambulation that extends your awareness to bodily movement and sensory experience. Then you have investigation of phenomena, Dhammavichaya or Dhammavichai in Thai, which means the active inquiry into the nature of the experience. So analysis, once you're mindful and aware of it, you then conclude and analyze and conclude what's happening through wisdom mind, not through conditioned mind. But that's to a different degree as you develop, because the wisdom mind isn't there at first. And so on to the pedagogical, or pedagogical, I prefer to say pedagogical lineage. And the transmission, meaning how is it transmitted, yeah? And we know in Thai, those who follow Thai Buddhism and amulets and stuff, and the great masters know about the transmission of lineage from Kruba Ajahn to Luksit, yeah, from master to apprentice to student. So the transmission of the Vipassanā Kammathāna through Thai forest tradition exemplifies the guru-disciple relationship, as I just said, which in Pali you would call Acharya Ante Vasika, which means, guru-disciple relationship. Yeah. And even in Mahayana Buddhism you find that as well, the guru. So the characteristic of contemplative tradition is passed on through the guru-disciple relationship, how to do it, the nuanced methods, and I believe that we should give particular attention to 3 seminal figures within the Thai forest tradition, of course. Or I would like to give respect for that is firstly Ajahn Man Puritetta, who lived from 1870 to 1949 and was the principal architect of the modern Thai forest tradition. Ajahn Mun emphasized direct experiential verification over theoretical understanding, which means badibat, not bariat. Bariat means academic knowledge of it, understanding, but badibat means put your hand to the work and the practice and experience it. Go to the forest. I remember going to Puttamontom when I was asking to go into Dong as a monk. I went with two monks, my mentor, and another young monk who was receiving his master's degree, or a very high degree, in Dharma studies, and he was very proud of his knowledge and stuff in Dharma, but he didn't have any understanding at all. And we actually had a Dharma argument as two monks in the back of the taxi. So the taxi offered us a ride home back to the temple, and the taxi driver, his eyebrows were raising because I was challenging him. I was saying, well, explain non-self, explain impermanence, and the monk he was baffled. I said, you can't teach Dhamma, but I can explain it to you. He said, yeah, I give in. I said, but you've got a master's degree, I don't have anything, I've just been 10 days ordained. I'm not even from Thailand. I said, but I've been in the forest, and I've been in the temples, and I've been in the cemeteries, and I've meditated on my own all night. I even, as a lay person, walked around Sirintorn and in the Isan, and with my back grod, with my umbrella and my mosquito net. And you haven't done that yet. I said, yeah, well, Badibat is better, yeah, I will do that. I've done my Bariyat, meaning my academic studies. Now I'm going to leave town and the temple, and I'm going to go to the forest and try what you say. I believe you. Badibat. That's quite nice. Anyway, the second, of course, was Ajahn Sao Kantasilo, who lived from 1861 to 1941. Ajahn Sao had a methodology that was characterized by simplicity and directness. Very simple, very direct. And he constantly advocated for continuous recitation of Putto, or Buddho, as most people know it, as a contemplative device or tool, as a weapon to keep away the maras, to keep yourself focused so your mind doesn't drift. Same thing. Synchronizing that Putto with your breath. So put as you breathe in, and to as you breathe out. So you think put, and you, as you breathe out, you think to, and stay with it. And every time your mind wanders, bring it back every time you notice. So he would synchronize that with his breath to establish mindfulness and concentration. And then, of course, everybody's favourite, Ajahn Chah Sopato, because he is in living memory still. Gen Z might not remember him, who lived from 1918 to 1992. And it was Ajahn Chah who was perhaps the most internationally influential forest master. Ajahn Chah synthesized formal meditation techniques with everyday common mindfulness throughout the day, even for lay persons. It wasn't just for the meditation hour, and that is truly manifest Vipassana, from morning to night, from waking to sleeping, and even while you're sleeping, if you get good at it. And Ajahn Chah's pedagogical genius lay in his ability to communicate profound dharmic principles through accessible metaphors drawn from the forest life. Remember, he couldn't even speak English, but has managed to open many dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of temples in foreign countries, which many more famous and more with access to the assets and funds from the Sangha to open temples in foreign countries, because Thai Buddhism does wish to spread itself. I know that. I'll explain that another day, why I know that and why it's so. But Ajahn Chah couldn't even speak English or any other language, but he managed with his simple way, to demonstrate through metaphorical demonstrations, yeah? So there you go, the three great masters of the forest tradition, There are still great masters now, some of them including foreigners, such as Ajahn Chayasaro and Ajahn Thanissaro Bhikkhu or Geoffrey de Graaf, to name two of many. Dependent origination is really essential to understanding Vipassana, and it was for the Buddha perhaps his prime focus, or one of his prime focuses in his teachings. So let's take a casual framework of it for Vipassanā Kammathāna, because it's put into a casual framework, which is what makes it practical instead of completely impossible. So the practice of Vipassanā Kammathāna is fundamentally concerned with understanding the causal process of dependent origination, or in Pali, paticca samuppada, or in Thai, paticca samuppada, which explains how dukkha, or suffering, dissatisfactoriness, arises and ceases. It's impermanent, There's already two of the three marks in one sentence, and connected, because suffering arises and ceases. So even suffering is impermanent, Impermanence is the first mark of existence, suffering is the second, But suffering is also impermanent, And so the first mark of existence is present within the second mark of existence, So have a look at the third and see if you can find anything there. Do it yourself. Well, look, meditate, think. You see the first mark of existence present within the second, so transitoriness, anicca present within dukkha, So what about non-self? Do you see dukkha in non-self? No, because non-self, only a self experiences dukkha. Anicca is not self impermanent. No, because it has to become something, like a self, a thing, first, for it to become impermanent. So not self isn't anything, it's still in Nibbana. So 2 of 3. You see what happens when you look inside? So in paticca samuppada it explains how suffering arises and ceases, as I said, but it's a 12-link chain, and this 12-link chain of causation, meaning cause and effect, links, one thing leads to the other, provides a comprehensive model of conditioned existence, which is our samsaric existence. So ignorance, which means avijja in Pali, I'll say in English and Pali, ignorance, avijja. The second is mental formations, or conditioned thoughts, sankhara. The third is consciousness, or awareness, vijnana, or vinyan. The fourth is name and form, nama-rupa, or nam gab-rup in Thai. The fifth is the 6 sense bases, the salayatana, same in Thai as Pali, salayatana. But we say the 6 senses inner and the 6 outer, which means the eyes and the objects you are looking at, vision, sound and ears. Sound is the outer sense organ. No, ears is the outer sense organ, sound is the inner sense organ. Or the other way around if you want to look at it. So, the 6th one is contact, patsa or patso, like your skin, you feel somebody tickling you. The 7th is feeling, vedana, emotions, sensations. The 8th is craving, tanha, which, when that good feeling's wearing off, you want another one. You want it again. The 9th is, because of that good feeling, you want it again. The wanting again is called clinging. That's the 9th one, upatana, because the craving leads to clinging. And the 10th one is becoming, bhava, which bhava means the process of becoming, which leads, of course, to the 11th, which is birth, or chati. You get a body and you're alive. And the 12th is, of course, aging, death, sadness, separation, sickness, and, of course, eventually cessation and death. So this ignorance, avijja, leads to sankhara, wrong thinking, wrong views in mental formations and conditioned thoughts. And when conditioned thoughts arise, then consciousness of them, or awareness of it arises, vinyan. And when that happens, then you enter an embryo actually, and you receive name and form, rup and nam, or nama rupa. And when you have a body, of course, you have the 6 senses: your eyes, your ears, your nose, your tongue, your skin and nerve endings, and so on, and your thoughts and ears. And then, of course, you have contact with the outside world and your inner mind, inner being, which is patsa, and also against your skin as well. Yeah? Physical contact, eye contact, ear contact, taste contact, yeah, whatever. Even sexual contact, yeah. And that arises to feelings, and some feelings are good. For example, some people like to have sex, and then it feels good, and then it's over, and then you're okay for a day or so, or an hour or so, or a week or so, or a month or so, depending on who you are. But eventually you get the feeling again, and the mood again, you want it again, because it was impermanent. It went away, that good feeling, yeah. So what happens then? You want it again, which is tanha, craving, the 8th, led to tanha. See how each thing leads to the other, is the cause of the next. And the tanha is you craving for it, and you look for it again and again, and you can't let it go. So that's the 9th one, you can't let it go. That's upatan, addiction. Actually, to be simple about it, addiction, clinging. You can't let go. So it's addictive. And then when you don't have it, you suffer, of course, because you're dissatisfied because you can't have it. And then that's this clinging to wanting it. If you're still clinging to it, whether you have it or not, when it's taken away from you, like when you die, this clinging might make you enter an embryo again and be born again, because you're clinging to it. So that causes a 10th thing, which is the process of becoming. Between lives, that clinging is the cause of the becoming, yeah, pawa in Pali. And that, of course, if you go into that embryo and down that tunnel, yeah, from the pardo back into this dimension, into the material world, into life, birth, jati or chat in Thai. And then you're born, you live your life, which is life is short, and then you get old, and whether it's bad or you die in your sleep quite healthy, or you get old and really suffer a lot, it doesn't matter, but it ends in death. And the sadness does you don't need to, aging happens from 1 to 5, never mind 20 to 80, 70 to 80, or 60 to 50, or 50 to 60. Yeah, you're aging all the time. Chara marana, so chara marana, you get older and older, you suffer because of that. A little kid doesn't want to be a grown-up. They think a 20-year-old's an old man, and a 70-year-old, they don't even know that they're going to be like that one day. I was shocked when I found that out at 5. So through Vipassanā practice, Tudong practitioners can directly observe how these links, the 12 links of dependent origination, or paticca samuppada, which I just explained, operate in their own experience, meaning in your own experience. You can see it happening if you focus within. You might see the critical juncture between feeling and craving, where the potential for liberation exists. If you can see the connection of the cause of feeling causing craving, and craving causing the addiction, and the addiction causing becoming, and the becoming causing birth, aging and death. Yeah, and it all begins with ignorance. So how do you get rid of this chain? You get rid of the ignorance, because if ignorance falls away, the mental formations will fall away, and then everything else starts falling away, but not in the same order as listed in the teaching of dependent origination, because that's just a list. You have to start somewhere and finish somewhere. But which comes first? Well, none of the 12 come first except one of them. But and which comes second? Any of them. But which comes first? Ignorance, avijja. So you observe that and you can see it happening within you. And then you believe in that then, the Buddha's teaching of dependent origination. And so if we look at the soteriological implications of the ultimate objective of Vipassanā Kammathāna, we can see that it extends beyond stress reduction or psychological well-being, as it is often touted in the Western world. It's much more than that. It's a path to liberation and cessation from suffering, yeah? So although those Vipassana kind of ashrams and stuff in the West, they might emerge and things for psychological well-being and, but not to get rich, for God's sake, those bhakti yogis, my gosh. Although these might emerge as useful tools or ancillary benefits, the practice truly of Vipassana, especially Vipassanā Kammathāna in the forest tradition, aims at complete liberation from the cycle of suffering. And that, of course, is attained through the eradication of ignorance, avijja, and then, of course, craving, tanha, because you abandon it, because you know it's the cause of your suffering. If you get rid of the ignorance, then you realize, okay? This liberation that comes, manifests through progressive stages, of course, takes a long, long time. Even lifetimes, if not one lifetime, many, yeah, and stages of insight, different degrees of insight. Vipassanā yana, or Vipassana yan, various levels of awareness and awakening, which culminate, of course, in the realization of Nibbana, which is the unconditioned state beyond those three marks of existence. And this transformative insight, which you achieve in that level of practice, which the practitioner achieves, anybody who reaches that, it fundamentally, the insight you get fundamentally reconfigures the practitioner's relationship with their experience, and it dissolves the cognitive distortions that perpetuate their suffering. Not overnight in a snap, rather, that's where a lot of people misunderstand, rather, look at the process of dissolving. It doesn't just disappear in one, does it? It slowly, what would you say, like erosion, it's like erosion. It's a slow process. So it's not all in one go. But when the last bit goes, it goes pop. So it douses out. It's like a candle, slowly going out, slowly going out, slowly going out, slowly flickering down and down, getting dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. But when it douses, then it does go pop, pop. But the process at first is in degrees, many, many degrees, which is why it takes decades for a young monk to become a master monk, or to become awakened, and so for you to become awakened, or me, or anybody, and even lifetimes. So the contemporary relevance of it's still relevant, and it always will be, because it's the Buddha Dhamma, and the principles and practices of Vipassanā Kammathāna, for me, are the best and offer a profound resource for addressing contemporary existential challenges, whether you're Buddhist or not, and are perfect practices in an era characterized by environmental degradation, social fragmentation, and psychological distress, especially through and after the COVID pandemic. Most people have ADHD, PTSD, and also are sad and woke, and I don't know what, all sorts of strange conditions that are being defined by people inventing those words. And the Thai forest tradition's emphasis on simplicity, mindfulness, and of course the direct investigation of experience, one's own experience within and without, provides a compelling alternative to most materialistic paradigms, which are, paradigms, some of my Yorkshire coming out, alternative to materialistic paradigms, meaning the Western Vipassana thing for a better life so you can succeed in your profession and get rich and famous. That's completely clinging. That's not to do with abandonment and pure self-purification. So the forest tradition's ecological consciousness as well is highly evident in its reverence for the forest environments. So it's an environmental thing here as well with the forest tradition. the Kammathāna, not Vipassanā as a practice in town in your room, but in the forest, Vipassanā Kammathāna, Tudong monks. And that resonates with contemporary environmental ethics, globally actually, how the forest monks live. And it suggests that spiritual practice and ecological responsibility are actually inseparable dimensions of a holistic approach to human wellness and wellness of the environment and of Mother Nature. Yeah? So, I better finish off now. To finish, well, I'll just sum it up then. How can I summarize it? Everything I've said, what is it? How could I encapsulate them? Vipassanā Kammathāna. Well, it's been preserved and transmitted through the Thai forest tradition throughout since Ajahn Mun, so since 1700 blah blah, and it represents to me the most sophisticated system of contemplative practices which are designed, given by the Buddha. It's the closest to the direct teaching from the Buddha and the direct practice as Buddha practiced. And it has been designed, and it's successful with so many people around the world, to cultivate a penetrative insight into the nature of reality, which is of course achieved through direct observation. And remember, observation of the tilakkhana, the three marks of existence, or the three characteristics. And, very importantly, it's a bit difficult at first, but you really need to understand it to practice vipassana, is dependent origination. Yeah. And so practitioners focus on understanding that, both academically and practically within, by looking at it as an event within. And through that, you or any practitioner should develop the wisdom, or paññā in Thai or Pali, the wisdom mind that is necessary to have enough effort to liberate oneself from suffering, or dukkha. Yeah? And the forest tradition's emphasis on forest dwelling, or simplicity even like my room, there is a sofa somewhere over there, but I'm sat on the floor, and there's a cushion on the floor over there, but I'm not sat on the cushion, I'm sat on a hard floor cross-legged. So why am I not laid out lazily on the sofa? Because I don't feel the need to. I've already got rid of that. I wish I'd got rid of everything though, because I'm still suffering. I'm not a Buddha, not even close. But anyway, so Vipassanā Kammathāna, for me, continues to offer all of humanity a truly profound and practical path towards authentic, true freedom, awakening, wisdom, and peace. And if everybody could achieve it, then it would mean peace for all in our contemporary world, for all of humanity. So, Ajahn Spencer for the Buddha Magic Project, signing off.